Now I'm going to show you how I made these little snowflake sprays. They're just made from paper, and a couple things I'll point out to you before I show you how to do it. If you look at these, there's a little bit of a difference between these and this one here. These, the difference between the long or the shorter pieces of paper in the center and the longer ones is not as great as it is here. So the outside here, you'll notice these are a lot longer than this one, and the same with these. So you have some options in how you want your spray to look. Now, if you just watched the little piece on how to make the tassel, then you can probably figure out where we're going with this. In this case, we're going to cut 3 pieces of paper, and each piece is going to be larger than the next, starting with the smallest and on, and obviously we're going to be putting these together and having them open up in a spray. And just like with the tassel, you're going to create a score line on the edge of the paper, but in this case you're going to make it as close to the edge as you can, because you don't want bulk when you're gluing this onto the surface that you're going to attach it to, unless you're going to use it for some other project. Obviously you can make this area as large as you want. It just depends on how you're using it. But for this particular thing, I made this about 1/8 of an inch. And then you're just going to go in just like we did with the tassel, and you're just going to cut this fringe from the edge all the way up to where your score line is. And then you want to notice what side of the paper you want to see. Unlike the tassel where I want the pattern on the outside, on this one I want the pattern on the inside, because we're going to be folding it out. And so when I roll this up, and I'll start with the smallest one since that's the center of the spray, I will roll that up with the pattern in the middle. Or if it was a double-sided pattern, just decide which side you want. Or maybe you want to alternate it. Maybe you want each row to have a different pattern. And then you're going to glue that in place. And I'm going to keep going for the purposes of this demonstration. So once you've got this glued, and you want to roll it as tight as you can, then you're going to roll the next one. Turn this over. And you're going to roll this one as tight as you can. And then of course you're going to glue it in place, then move on and roll the next one and glue it in place. And then you'll have this all glued in place. Okay, now we've got it all in place, and once it's dry, the glue is dry, then you're just going to start opening up your spray by pulling out the longer pieces. You can kind of arrange them around. And once you get those out, however you like, then you can start pulling down the next row of paper and kind of move it around, make sure the little pieces are separated. And then lastly, do the center and pull those down. I play with it a little bit and just make sure all the pieces are kind of symmetrically arranged around the center. And then once you get everything where you want it, then like I said, for this particular project, I added some stickles in there to give it some sparkle. So like it was this sparkly kind of snowflake spray. And that's all there is to it.